It's time for the penultimate round of this season, as IMSA returns to the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the next Michelin endurance race. Before the event gets underway, there is still a lot to discuss, including a different kind of race, new entries, and much more. This is the race preview detailing everything that you need to know about the 2024 TireRack.com Battle of the Bricks at IMS. Round 10 takes us to the very track that hosts the legendary Indy 500 within the NTT IndyCar series. And for this event, there will be quite a few changes since IMSA was here last year. One of those changes is the length of the race. Considering the fact that Indianapolis is now a part of the Michelin Endurance Round schedule, the length of this race has been extended to 6 hours, meaning that this event will be almost double the distance of the 2023 race here. Speaking of last year's event, it was pretty entertaining, and I expect nothing less this time round. The 2023 race was dominated by Porsche Penske Motorsport as they secured a 1-2 finish. On the track that's owned by Roger Penske himself, he got to watch his team win with Mathieu Jaminet and Nick Tandy taking the win in the number 6 Porsche, followed by the number 7 Porsche and the number 25 BMW from Team RLL rounding off the podium. In fact, the number 6 pairing of Jaminet and Tandy were not only the last winners of the previous race at the Brickyard, but also our previous IMSA winners in GTP, as the number 6 Porsche took the win at Road America last time out for the GTP class. However, the last IMSA race was held in Virginia for the GT-only event at VIR, and if you want a recap of what happened, make sure to check out my race review of that event, which I've linked in the description down below. For the race in Indianapolis though, not only will we see the return of the GTP class, but also prototype cars in general, with the LMP2 class also making a comeback. In fact, all 4 IMSA categories will be on the grid, with the only exception from last year being the LMP3 class, which of course isn't on the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship grid anymore. Now, let's move on to the entry list for the event at Indianapolis. There will be 11 cars in GTP, 10 in LMP2, 12 in GTD Pro, and finally 23 in GTD, for a combined total of 56 cars on the grid for the Battle of the Bricks in 2024. The entry list does indeed feature the return of Lamborghini to the GTP category, with this being a Michelin endurance round. The SC63 will be piloted by Andrea Caldarelli, Matteo Cairoli, and Romain Grosjean at the wheel of the number 63 GTP entry. And to the excitement of many, the Lamborghini GTP will also be back on the grid for the remaining event of Petit Le Mans later on in the season, with that also being a Michelin endurance round. Also, it's worth noting that when it comes to GTP, besides the Lamborghini, 3 other cars will field additional racers. This list includes Phil Hansen in the number 85 JDC Miller Porsche, Tom Blomqvist in the number 31 Whelen Cadillac, and finally Alessio Piccarello, who will drive the number 5 Mustang sampling Porsche from Proton Competition for the first time since the 12 Hours of Sebring. There's also a buzz around the GT Daytona field. 2 new Ferraris will join the GTD grid for this race, with Dragon Speed bringing their new car and Inception Racing also bringing their new 296 after making the move from McLaren. If you want to know more about that recent move, I actually made a video about those details, which I'll link in the description down below. The 2 new Ferraris, along with the additional endurance round entries from the Italian manufacturer, means that we will see a total of 7 Ferrari 296 GT3s competing on the grid for the Battle of the Bricks. It's also worth mentioning that the Aston Martin team, the Heart of Racing, will enter 2 cars into the GTD Pro field this time round, with the number 27 Vantage GT3 making the step up from GTD to join the full-time number 23 Pro entry for this race. As for the track and the race itself, The event will be taking place on the Grand Prix road course layout, and not the iconic oval version where the Indy 500 happens. The track is located 6 miles west of downtown Indianapolis, which is in the US state of Indiana. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the third oldest purpose-built road course in the world, with the Milwaukee Mile and Brooklands placed as older racing courses. The Speedway was opened on August 12th of 1909, and the track is currently FIA Grade 1. The road course layout has a total of 14 turns that make up the 2.4-mile track, or 3.9 kilometers. Now, IMSA's first trip to Indianapolis was in 2014, but there were 2 events beforehand in 2012 and 2013 respectively, and those were in the Rolex Sports Car Series, which eventually merged into IMSA later on. After 2014, IMSA didn't return until 2023, with the new GTP class headlining a nearly 3-hour sports car race. Besides IMSA though, the Speedway has hosted races for other motorsports, including the NASCAR Cup Series, the Intercontinental GT Challenge, Formula 1, GT World Challenge America, and of course the NTT IndyCar Series, to name just a few series that have come to this track for racing. As for the balance of performance for the Battle of the Bricks, for the GTP class and on the power side of things, the Acura ARX06 as well as the Porsche 963 will be the most powerful cars on the grid, where the BMW M Hybrid V8 will be the least powerful. As for the weight of the cars, the lightest entry in GTP will actually be the Lamborghini SC63. Meanwhile, the entries from Cadillac, Acura, and Porsche will be the heaviest on the grid. The weight for the GT classes remains fairly unchanged, besides a loss of power for the Acura NSX and the BMW M4. Like previous events beforehand though, the Ford Mustang GT3 remains the lightest car, while the Mercedes AMG GT3 remains the heaviest. Now, it's very important to know that the main WeatherTech Sports Car Championship will not be the only source of sports car racing across the weekend. IMSA will also bring 3 of their support series, which includes the Michelin Pilot Challenge, the Porsche Carrera Cup of North America, and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Championship. Now, one of the big factors heading into this race is the championship standings, and in fact, the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes could actually win the GTD title at this event, considering the dominant form it has had, with 4 wins so far this season. Over in GTP, things are looking good for Porsche Penske Motorsport, as they currently sit 1-2 with their 2 963s. The number 7 Porsche leads away with about a 100-point gap to the number 6 Porsche, and that particular car has around a 85-point gap to the 01 Cadillac from Chip Ganassi Racing, which rounds off the top 3. Meanwhile, the number 31 Whelen Cadillac is sitting in 4th, with the number 40 Wayne Taylor Racing Andretti Acura rounding off the top 5. Meanwhile, over in the LMP2 class, it's the number 52 Inter Europol by PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry that leads away, followed by the number 74 Riley Orica 07 and the number 18 Era Motorsport entry. The 2 United Autosports entries complete the top 5, with the number 2 United in 4th after claiming its win at Road America and the number 22 in 5th. Over in GTD Pro, it's still the number 77 AO Porsche that is at the top of the standings. And just a reminder, this car is going to see the return of the famous Rexy livery. The number 23 Heart of Racing Aston Martin sits second, with about a 17-point gap to the number 77 Porsche, with the number 1 Paul Miller Racing BMW rounding off the top 3 after its successful win last time out in VIR. The number 14 Vassar Sullivan Lexus is in 4th, and completing the top 5 is the number 3 Corvette from Pratt Miller Motorsports. Finally in GTD, as I mentioned before, the championship could be wrapped up, with the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes at the top, followed by the 96 Turner Motorsport BMW and the 32 Korkoff Preston Motorsports Mercedes in 3rd. The 34 Conquest Racing Ferrari is in 4th, followed by the number 27 Heart of Racing Aston Martin completing the top 5 in this class. But anyway, let's go back to the main Battle of the Bricks event, and moving on to the schedule and how you're supposed to watch this race in 2024. Now, as I mentioned before, this event will last a total of 6 hours in length, making it the 4th longest event in IMSA competition, tied alongside the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen, which took place earlier this year. Once again, qualifying will set up the race, and that will be separated into 3 different sessions. One for the GT Daytona cars, one for the LMP2 cars, and finally one for the main GTP cars. All these sessions will take place on Saturday, September 21st, and they will begin at 3:35 p.m. and go until 4:45 p.m. local time. By the way, the track is in the Eastern Daylight Time Zone. As for the main race, that will all take place on Sunday, September 22nd, with the broadcast beginning at 11:30 a.m. and going until 6 p.m. local time. As for watching this race live in 2024, if you're in the United States of America, it's going to be on the Peacock streaming service, or on the USA Network. That is going to be an NBC broadcast. For the rest of the world, it's going to be on IMSA TV, or on IMSA's official YouTube channel, and that is going to be an IMSA broadcast. For race day, I will also be going live on this channel for a watch-along, to discuss what is happening during this incredible endurance race. And by the way, if you can't watch the event live, don't worry, because IMSA is going to be posting the replay to their official YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description down below. So there you have it, those are all the details that you need to know ahead of the 2024 TireRack.com Battle of the Bricks at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Are you excited for the penultimate round of this IMSA season? And which GTP entry do you think will take the overall win? Well, as always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. For more content on endurance racing such as the WEC and IMSA, consider subscribing if you haven't already. On screen, you'll find some suggested videos to watch next. For now though, that's it for me. You'll hear from me next in the following video.